Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you how I made this card. This is one that I'm using some new stuff, and I'm using some of this beautiful paper from the Petal Promenade paper suite that's on sale this month. This is one of the ones that's buy 3 get 1 free, so I'm trying to feature a bunch of those papers in some of my videos so you can get some ideas of what you can do with this. And this paper has these beautiful pink roses all over it. It's just gorgeous. And then this die cut here is from the Delicate Lace Edgelit dies, and these are the dies. They cut out this wonderful edging here, and this is the one, I haven't even taken all the little pieces out of mine yet, but that is the one that cuts this particular one. And then this is another of the lace edgelets, and that one is this die, and there are three dies in this set. And the last one is this amazing monster one that cuts out this piece here, this die. And what it does is it cuts down to the edge and then it stops. So you can just nip it off or put it right up to an edge and do it. And it's bigger than your card front, so there's some kind of fun things you can do with this, and I've got a couple of ideas of things I want to do with this edging, but this is the first of those cards. And this one was inspired originally. What I did was, in the last card, one of the last cards that I made and did a video on, this card using some of the panels in that delightfully detailed laser cut paper. And so I cut out some of the centers of some of those panels in order to make this card. Well, I had those pieces sitting on my desk. Here's one of them, and this was another, and this was another, and I thought, I wonder if this can be colored. So I just pressed it down into my Memento black ink pad and covered it in the black. And you can color that paper, but boy is it messy. So and while I was doing that, I was thinking about these edgelit dies, and so I decided to switch a little bit and try to do the edgelit dies in that same kind of way, putting some of that beautiful lace detail here on the card. So what I'm using is that Petal Promenade paper, the Delicate Lace Edgelit dies, and then I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to use a thank you, the thank you that comes from the Love What You Do stamps. This is one of my new favorite thank you stamps. And so I thought I would just put this together. So let me tell you what you need to make this particular card. I have a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and then I'm just going to burnish that edge and get my card base ready to go. Then you need a piece of, I'm using Blushing Bride, and you need 2 pieces of Blushing Bride. Let's see, and these are, I think they're both the same. This is 5 1/4 by 4, one as a layering piece for the outside and one as a layering piece for the inside. Then you need the piece of Designer Series paper, and this piece is cut 3 3/4 by 5 to put this beautiful piece of paper on the top here of this on the outside. It's a very simple card to make once you get everything cut. And then I have cut my dies here. So I have got my couple of different edgelets here, and they're all ready to go on here, and this one has some really pretty stitching on it. And I wondered, I cut this one because I thought maybe we could get that one on here, but I think I'm going to stick to the one that I used from before. So this is what we need. Then you need some, so in order to cut these, you need a pretty good sized piece of black, basic black paper. And if your little strip is wide enough, you can get both pieces cut out of one. And so your piece would need to be about 2.5 inches by about, let's see, what is it? By about 6.5 inches. And then if it's 2.5 to 3 inches wide, you can cut both edgelets out of this piece of paper by putting one of the edgelets on one side and one of them on the other side. Then you need a piece of black scrap to do the backing for your sentiment. And then I also used a piece of just a little scrap of Blushing Bride to also do my sentiment. And then I'm using some black shimmer ribbon and some black embossing powder. So that's all the pieces that we need. And so let me just show you how this comes together. It's really pretty simple. This piece can just be adhered here to this. And so I'm just going to do that with a little bit of snail. And add this piece to the top of this one. And then I need my die cut because I wanted my ribbon to go all the way across all of the pieces. And this one I cut a little bit short, and this one I think I'm going to leave just a little bit longer. I'm going to take it right to the edge of the designer series paper, but have it go all the way to the edge of the pink card here. And so I'm going to bring up my trimmer because this piece just needs to be evened up a little bit. And I'm going to place this piece in my trimmer and just slice that edge so that it's even. You see, when I put it on my die cut, to make my die cut, it wasn't exactly straight on the paper. So I've got that, and I think this one also just needs a little bit of a haircut here to trim it up to the appropriate size. And there we go. I'll trim that piece off, and that piece is all ready to go. Very, very simple, these dies. And they cut beautifully. It was very simple to do. So the next thing I'm going to do is center this piece with its pretty stitching right here on the card. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to use my silicone mat, and I'm going to use some snail here along this one edge. And then I think I am going to use a little bit of Tombow on the backs of some of these little pieces, especially along the edge where they're liable to pick up because some of them are loose. And so I think I will add a few dots of Tombow here on several of these places to secure that piece down a little bit better. So there, I think that'll work just fine. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to lay it right along the edge of my designer series paper here, centering it on that panel. And then I'm just going to take my snips and I'm going to trim off the ends so we get an absolutely perfect fit for this die cut on the front of this card base. And there we have our piece. Hold down this little pieces here to let Tombo get a grip here. And there we have our piece. Isn't that just pretty? There's something about that black and pink that's very, very pretty to my mind's eye. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is put on some of our pretty black shimmer ribbon. And so I need a length to go across this card and secure it on the back. So again, I'm just going to use some snail on the back of my ribbon so that when I lay it down, I know it's going to stay put. So here we go. And I put it down about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way down the page here. And you can use your grid paper to help you get it on here straight. There we go. And then I'm going to anchor that on the back side. And then I made a simple bow to go on the outside of the card. And there we go. This ribbon just makes a beautiful, easy bows. So I'm just going to nip off those ends. And then I'm going to use a couple of glue dots to secure down. I typically put 3 glue dots on, 1 under the knot, and then 1 under each side of the loop of the bow, so that I know that bow isn't going to go anyplace. And so there we go. All right. So this sentiment here came from that kit, lots of happy. And I just love this little sentiment. It's got the cutest little sentiments in it, sending you lots and lots of happy. You deserve the best the world has to offer. It's got some really cute sentiments. But I thought people might more likely have this thank you or a thank you card, so that's what I'm using. And what I did was I used 2 of my ovals from the layered ovals, layering oval set, and you can use any size you want just so that they nest just one within the other. And I don't remember which of these this is, but it fit my sentiment pretty well. And I'll put that in the description below. So I've cut out my pieces here. So I have my piece here and then my backing. So I'm going to use my Memento ink here, and I'm going to take my thank you here and see if I can't get that nice and centered on this oval. Normally I would have you, and you certainly can do it, stamp on your piece of scrap paper first and then cut out your oval, and that way you don't have to worry about getting it straight when you stamp, because then you can move your dot any direction that you want. But there we go. I've got my thank you on here, and what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of snail to the back of my thank you here. Yep, that's just about out of tape. Okay, and then I'm going to set it so that it's centered on this nice little scallop piece, and then that's going to go right here. Put my ink away, and we are going to use some dimensionals here on the back of the sentiment, and I'm just going to use 2. I think that's really all it needs. And we're going to, before I put that on, I think I will secure that to my card base. Make sure it opens the right way. Yes, so this way. So I am going to put a little bit of snail again. Okay, so I've refilled my snail here, And now it's all ready to go. And I'm going to just put this piece on the front of my card base here. And put that into place here with a similar margin all the way around. Here we go. And then I'm going to take my sentiment piece and just raise it up on dimensionals. And there you go. Just a really simple little card. Very easy to do. And so here's my piece, my layering piece for the inside. So again, I'm just going to put some snail down on it and put that on the inside of my card here, again with a similar margin all the way around. And then I'm going to take my piece here and add it, and I probably should have done that before I laid that piece down, but I think if I go all the way to the top and the bottom of the, nope, I'm going to do it right on the actual pink piece. So I'm going to trim off my piece here and add some snail to this. And what I'm going to do is put it on all of the surfaces and then just use my fingers to take the excess glue off of the interior of the die cut. And that seems to work pretty well. Now I'm going to lay this down and leave a little peak of the pink showing along the edge and put this piece down. Now what you can do, if there's still some residual glue that you can see, you can use your glue eraser to come in here and take out any extra pieces of glue. And there we have it. That is the project for the day. A nice and simple card, and yet I think very attractive. And I also had, these are the, what are they called? Petal Pink Rhinestone Gems. Aren't they beautiful? And so I thought on this one, I put 3 along the edge, and I used this diamond shape, and I really like the way that looks. So I'm going to add those 3 here, sort of one at the top. If I can get it on there straight, one at the top. And they have a little bit of dimension. So this is one, if you're putting it in the mail, you'd want to put a little piece of card over it when you stick it in the mail, or you're going to get charged some extra postage. And I find that the backing paper that comes on the back of the designer series paper, it's a little bit stiffer cardboard, and that works absolutely beautifully. I cut them up into 4x5 shapes and put them on the tops of cards when I go to put them in the mail. See, that one's just a little bit crooked, so let me see if I can fix that. There we go. And then I think I'm going to take one more, maybe one of these large octagonal ones, and put it here. Is that too big? Let me look at one of these smaller ones. I want to do something that's in scale for the card. Yep, I think the other one is too big. So I'm going to put this one down here, right up here. There we go. That adds the finishing touch. This one had quite a bit more writing on it, and so didn't need much. But there's my card for the day. Thanks so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, and or you could join my team. You can purchase anything that you see here on my Stampin' Up! Site, www.lbedinger.sthampinup.net. And if you place an order on my website between now and month end, you're automatically entered into my prize draw for the month. And my prize draw for the month of July is a Stamparatus. And so all you have to do is place an order with me before month end to be in that drawing. And there's, like I said, the paper sale, buy 3, get 1 free, and this lovely paper is one of the ones. It's all of the $11 papers in our catalog. And if you don't have a catalog, just drop me a note and I'll make sure you get your hands on one. The other thing that's going on this month is an absolutely amazing offer by Stampin' Up! When you join. You get a 10 ink pad bonus. So you always, the deal is $125 worth of product for $99, and this month through the end of the month you get 10 ink pads bonus on top of it, so an additional $75, so you get $200 worth of product for $99. And the ink pads work that you get all 10 in any color family, and the color families are the subtles, the regals, the brights, the neutrals, or the 5 each of the in colors, the ones from last year and the ones from this year. So you can make your choice of whichever of those groups you would like for your ink pads, and you're off and rolling, and then you would get all of your supplies that you order from Stampin' Up! At a 20% discount to start, and there's ways to make that climb over time. And I'm happy to say I've had a couple people join my team this month, and I'd be thrilled to have more people on my team. So thanks so much again for stopping by and watching this video with me. I, again, do so appreciate it. And I'll be back soon with more cards and more projects. Bye.